It's getaway day in the Queen City, and the Braves hope to leave Cincinnati with their third consecutive series win. Today, Aaron Harang takes the mound looking to defeat his former team. It's the series finale. It's the Braves, and it's the Reds, and the fun starts now. Nothing like day baseball in the Midwest. It is a summer steam bath here at the Great American Ballpark, where the Braves try to escape town with a series win of 3-1. And all year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. The Reds got on the board in the overall season series, winning 1-0 last night. The Braves try to get even behind Aaron Harang in this series wrap-up today. And hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to Cincinnati. Great ball game last night in all respects except the score. The 17th 1-0 final in Great American Ballpark history went the Reds' way. Good news is, Joe, the Braves got great pitching. Bad news is they didn't support it.
Well, that's kind of been the story of the season, Chip. And I think when the ultimate story is written about the 2014 season, despite the fact that the Atlanta Braves have lost 3 starting pitchers this year, 2 before the season even started, the fact that the starting pitching has been so good will be, I think, the strongest part of the year. And for the Atlanta Braves and the quality starts, 91. That's more than any other team, 6th in the major leagues in starters ERA. And we think about those 3 guys that are missing and how the Braves have filled those gaps. It's pretty amazing to be where they are.
That's our Lowe's Never Stop Improving feature. And a man that was also signed by the Braves very late is a man who's turned in as many quality starts as anybody in the game.
He's outstanding. And Aaron, coming off that game in Pittsburgh where he got a lot of run support early, he was a joy to watch because he was like any veteran. He was throwing strikes, he was getting a lot of ground balls, and he certainly knows what it takes to pitch in this ballpark.
38 career wins at the Great American Ballpark for the former Red and current Brave. It's homecoming indeed for Aaron Harang. He and the Braves try to take through 3 out of 4 from the Reds this afternoon, and we'll get to baseball by the banks of the Ohio River right after this.
AT&T Uverse, Ford, Delta Airlines, and Synovus, the bank of here.
The season finale between the Reds and the Braves is coming up as Atlanta tries to bounce back from the 1-0 shutout last night. Hey guys, I'm Jen Hildreth coming at you one more time from the Great American Ballpark, where we have already seen some great pitching from Atlanta in this series. Both the starters and relievers have been really good, and one guy who you've come to expect good things from is the guy starting for the Braves today, Aaron Harang, tied for second in the National League with 21 quality starts. And you know, he's a guy these Cincinnati fans know pretty well. Yeah, they know something about Aaron. He pitched here for 8 years, had a record of 75 and 80 as he told me he kind of learned to pitch here, and he ranks second all time with 114 starts in this ballpark. He ranks first with 600 strikeouts. He's third in wins, and it all shaped his approach now.
My whole mindset's always been since I got over, was even with Cincinnati was, I want to be the guy that gives the bullpen a night off. I mean, that's what I've always tried to do, and obviously there's circumstances that change that, but I always want to try and go deep into games and throw a lot of innings each year.
Aaron missed his former team the first time around this season, but he'll get a shot at him in the series finale today. The question is, will Aaron Harang have any bats to back him up? There was a lack of offense for the Braves as they were shut down and shut out last night. Let's see if we can get back to some of those 12th inning fireworks we had on Friday. First pitch coming up.
Country in their beautiful Hyundais with the air conditioning cranked on high. It's smoking hot, humid weather here in Cincinnati, where the Braves try to take 3 out of 4 with Aaron Harang, the former Red, going to work on the mound. The Toyota starting lineup has Phil Gosselin in at shortstop, a day off for Andrelton Simmons. Chris Johnson has it safely in 10 of his last 12, and Tommy La Stella back in at second base. And it's Harang versus Alfredo Simon, who had a great first half for Cincinnati.
15-10 on the year, a 3.35 ERA. He's a big guy, 32 years old, 6'6", 265, but a tale of two halves. 12-3 earned him a spot on the All-Star team. Those numbers in the second half would not. His 4 keys to pitching success today. Coming up right after this pitch,
which will come to Jason Hayward leading off for the Braves, and it's upstairs.
Number one, trouble with the curve. He's got to get his curveball over to be effective. Lately, he has not been able to do that. He throws hard, throws in the low to mid 90s, but he's got to have movement on his fastball to complement it.
Bouncing ball up the middle for Jason Hayward, and the Braves leadoff man now has a 6-game hitting streak. Trouble with the curve. I thought you were saying that Simon was a Clint Eastwood fan.
He is very much so, but his trouble with curve is a little different than the one in the movie.
So you're saying his year has been the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh boy, yes.
For
good tie-in.
The big right-hander, who's never beaten the Braves. He's faced him 8 times, all as a relief pitcher. So he's been a nice find for Cincinnati this year. And he's immediately in the stretch for Phil Gosselin. Freddie Gonzalez planned to give Andrelton Simmons today off and a full day off tomorrow for Andrelton and the rest of the team. You know all about Simmons' left ankle and the issues that's caused. There's no major issue. There's no minor issue. They just want to make sure that he can get over the hump and get rested and be ready to go for the final September push. So Gosselin and La Stella, the double play combo for Atlanta today. Braves last night were shut down by Mike Leake, who got the ball on the ground all night long. That's going to be key today in this hot, humid weather. Gosselin behind 0-2.
Yeah, Leake's best game of the year. Base Steelers 11 for 16 off Simon.
Freeman on deck. 2-strike pitch. Nice stop by Mesoraco. Braves start play today, 7 games behind Washington. The Nationals just keep on winning. They trailed 2-0 in the first inning, then blew up Tim Lincecum, and they ran away from the Giants last night. Atlanta at the moment is a game behind San Francisco in the National League wild card.
Well, they've got some big pitchers, don't they?
Do they ever? Latos, a big man. Holmberg was a big guy. Chapman's big and tall. Ground ball up the middle, and Cozart with a backhanded flip, and Phillips with a bare hand tried to turn that double play, and a hard slide by Hayward, and he almost pulled Brandon Phillips out of his spikes trying to help him get up at second base.
Pulled his arm out of socket. Can't believe Cozart got to this. Number one, looked like it was all but up the middle, and not only did he catch it, he gets an out. Cozart's had a good series defensively, and Jason all over Brandon Phillips, prevent the double play.
So here's Freeman. Freddie's 2 for 10 in the series. 17 homers, 68 knocked in. Takes a strike. Mark Carlson has home plate today. Nelson Berry and Laz Diaz, the rest of the umpiring crew. And in the dirt. And even count.
It's going to be a hot day for the catchers with all that gear on already. Mesoraco's been dancing around back there trying to block balls in the dirt.
Now Freddie behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That might have been his split finger pitch. In addition to his low to mid 90s fastball that he relies on a 2-seamer to make it run a little bit away from left-handed hitters, he's got a split finger pitch too. It looked like it there.
Reds needed a starter when Matt Latos was hurt. He got hurt, as we told you, in spring training. He's had knee problems. He had elbow issues. Simon stepped in and got a job that he hasn't given up yet. The times are tough for him lately. He hasn't won since July 9th. And he just struck out Freddie Freeman for his first strikeout of the game. There's a runner at first, 2 outs.
Freddie struck out 2 times in game 1, 2 times in game 2, a couple of times last night, already once tonight. It's unusual for him.
Unusual for this man to take an offer, but that's what happened to Justin last night, snapping his 13-game hitting streak. Boy, he was roasting hot in that stretch. Hopefully he can start another streak today. And a fly ball to right. Jay Bruce gallops in and has it, and that'll retire the side. The Braves get a leadoff hit and leave Phil Gosselin stranded at first base. Aaron Harang goes to work. Scoreless first inning. Bottom of the first inning. Aaron Harang is the former Reds right-hander pitching for the Braves. Here's the Toyota starting 9 he will see today. Brandon Phillips has been a Braves killer. The key, though, is the man at the top of the order, Billy Hamilton. Got to control him if you want to control this Reds offense, which Joe has had a very rough second half of the season, but all bets are off in this ballpark with this kind of weather.
No question about that, Chip. This is the 27th start for Harang. He's 10-7. 3.50 ERA. His last 6 road starts, I'd say they've been pretty good. Plus a lot of run support. 4-0 with a 3.12 ERA. 36 years old, 6'7", 260. 4 keys to pitching success for him. Local knowledge. He knows you got to keep the ball down to win in this ballpark, and you just saw some road numbers. He has been a road grader. If you want to give him a grade, you'd give him an A for his last 5 road starts, last 6. And 6-3 on the year away from Turner Field.
So Billy Hamilton is the Cincinnati leadoff man, and Chris Johnson and Freddie Freeman could almost shake hands with him after he swings the bat. And that's something, Joe, he hasn't shown much willingness to do in this series. Hamilton hasn't shown bunt, much less executed bunt.
But he's drawn some walks to get on base too, and aside from the fly ball outs we talked about early in the series, he really hasn't had any need to. Put down a good sacrifice bunt last night.
Harang missed low. It's a full count to Hamilton with his 49 stolen bases. Todd Frazier, you hear him whacking the dirt out of his spikes in the on-deck circle. He'll hit next. And a chopper toward short. Gosselin knows who's running and got his man easily. Man, you don't play shortstop a lot. You check in, you get a start, and that guy hits it to you. I'll bet your heart starts beating quick.
Almost like a double play ball that you got to turn.
But Harang gets a ground ball out, something we'll track today. And here's Frazier. Frazier, another man that can run. He's also got 21 home runs. .277 average for the Cincinnati third baseman. And a strike. Frazier was reaching for that ball and skied it into the red-clad crowd. 1-2.
Harang's last start against Pittsburgh, he had a lot of runs to work with early and pitched into the ninth inning. He gave up 9 hits, but 3 of those were in the ninth inning, as well as 1 of the 3 runs. He was fun to watch.
That was a much more comfortable day or night to pitch than today. We'll see how much gas is in the tank for Harang today, as Frazier pops it back toward us and into the second deck.
Boy, he does that a lot. Lunging, one-handed, spoiling pitches. That's at least 3 in this at bat.
But Harang got him, and a swing and a miss is the second out of the frame. First Aaron Harang strikeout today.
Well-placed fastball. Maybe just an inch or 2 off the plate. Couldn't catch it.
Here's Brandon Phillips. I'll bet Aaron Harang wants to find out how that thumb feels today. It was barking the other night. Brandon took a strike.
He was feeling pretty good last night on that 94 5-mile-an-hour fastball that Santana threw him on a 3-2 count. Able to get a hit and drive in the only run of the game.
Phillips' injury, one that has been devastating for this Reds offense this year. Left thumb ligament surgery. Joey Votto's been out. Their big first baseman. And Brian Price's bullpen has not won a game since the break. Remember, they were a game and a half out of first place. All of a sudden, Cincinnati with this real rough stretch, 6 games under 500 and 9.5 behind Milwaukee. They're still 7 out in the wild card, theoretically still alive, but more time is running out. And Phillips rips it foul at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes. E.J. Upton swings way around toward right in center. And the 3-2 pitch caught a corner, and Phillips was on his way to first base. Mark Carlson rings up Brandon Phillips, and Aaron Harang has a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Swing the bats, fellas. It's a hot Sunday in Cincinnati, and we have no score going to the second.
American Ballpark. And, of course, the man who wore number 14 here lives in both fame and infamy. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the date that Pete Rose was banned from baseball. And with the commissioner in town on Friday, he knew he'd be asked about that topic.
And I understand the feeling here in Cincinnati. I do. I understand it. I'm sensitive to it, as a matter of fact. And I've said, because I am the judge, that it's a matter under advisement, and therefore it really is inappropriate for me to say any more than that. How it ends eventually, I don't know.
So something we'll have to wait and see, but certainly he did say it's something that he has been talking about as that office gets ready to switch hands, guys.
Thank you, Jen. There was a story in one of the Cincinnati papers this morning talking about the 25th anniversary of Pete's suspension and what are the possible outcomes as to the fate of Pete Rose, with Bud Selig stepping down as commissioner at the end of this year and Rob Manfred taking over. There is no easy answer. And as Bud Selig joked in his press conference, he said, well, every time I go to a city and there's a controversial topic, I wait and see how many questions pass before they ask the tough one. He said it took two when Pete Rose came up. Line drive into center field off the bat of Chris Johnson. And a good start here in the Atlanta second. Is it time for Pete Rose, is the question that some in baseball have.
Well, there's no denying what he did in the game and how successful he was and part of successful teams and what he contributed to those teams. But what he did was possibly the worst thing you can do in this game. And there are signs, and always have been, posted in the clubhouses, on the doors of clubhouses. Do not gamble. And you know what the circumstances are if you do, and what could happen. So, having said that, we have guys playing in the game today who have been given second and third chances for abusing the drug rules in this game. They get second chance, get to rehab, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it is time.
And that was one of the four possibilities. One, Bud Selig does nothing. He rides off into the sunset and hands this decision over to Rob Manfred and the Baseball Veterans Committee. As Gaddis hits and takes outside. Another possible scenario listed was Rob Manfred to create his own legacy, much like Adam Silver did when he took over as the NBA commissioner for David Stern. He reinstates Pete Rose and says it's time to solve this question once and for all and move on. 3, Manfred waits. 4, Pete doesn't get in or gets in after he's passed.
I've been pretty hard line about it. Anti-return. But I think, like a lot of people, my stance is beginning to soften a little bit because of what I just said. If you're going to give these guys who cheated on the drug issue second and third chances and how they affected the game, then I think it may be time to address Pete Rose's issue too.
And for young fans who don't know the history of the Pete Rose suspension, Bud Selig was not the commissioner of baseball at the time. Bartlett Giamatti was the baseball commissioner. And after the suspension, as Gaddis cranks one foul, a week or so later, Mr. Giamatti tragically passed away. And so there is no easy answer. And I'm with you. I've kind of softened on it as well. I think that my dad always said, how can you not have the best hitter in the history of the game in the Hall of Fame? And there's a certain amount of common sense to that. So why not on his plaque just state the facts? He was suspended. Let people come to their own conclusions. Because after all, it is a baseball Hall of Fame. It's not exactly sainthood.
Yeah, let's face it too. It wasn't a suspension. He was banned from the game in all aspects. He could not have anything to do with any major league team or game. So if he's reinstated, it'll be that the ban is lifted and not some indefinite suspension.
Full count pitch for Gaddis. Runner goes. The pitch is high and tight. Did he swing? Yes, he did. Gaddis is called out on strikes as he tried to avoid a high tight fastball. And Chris Johnson steals second base, his 5th of the year, and there's one out in the inning.
Well, he did his best to try to make it look like he was trying to get out of the way of the pitch, but Evan did start his swing and then brought his body back to his bat if that's possible.
So a scoring chance for the Braves here in the second inning with Tommy La Stella up there, the Braves second baseman, a homer, 28 RBIs. And he takes a strike. Something else that Commissioner Selig said, and I think is worth mentioning as well. He was very careful not to get into the Pete Rose thing too much because he was here to promote the All-Star game. The Reds are going to host the All-Star game in 2015, and there will be some recognition of Pete Rose, from what I understand, at the Midsummer Classic here in Cincinnati.
But he also issued a warning on that to the Reds. I don't know if it was permission granted to the Reds to allow him to be part of the All-Star festivities, but he said, be smart about it.
Right.
Use your best judgment on that. So in other words, don't make him the centerpiece. Don't let him throw out the first pitch. Don't, et cetera, et cetera.
1 ball, 1 strike, and out of play, fouls. We obviously don't have the answer. And I think we're saying the same thing. We see both sides of the issue very clearly.
Yeah, but you know what? Between now and the All-Star game next year, when Mr. Manfred takes over, we may well see Pete reinstated, and if there is a good time for it, it would certainly be for the All-Star game here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch bounced out towards short. Boy, Tommy's wearing out Cozart's glove, isn't he, in this series? He's smoked a couple of balls in run scoring spots and has had no luck getting it past that slick fielding man at shortstop. Runner to third, 2 out. And here's B.J. Upton. You've got Harang waiting on deck. Let's see how the Reds approach this sequence.
Everybody's looking in the dugout. Brian Pena, the first baseman, came over to remind Simon who's on deck. He just doesn't know how hot Aaron is right now.
So somebody from the Reds dugout just yelled at Mesoraco, who had to call time. I don't know if the Reds were all on the same page in this sequence.
They're going to take their chances with BJ.
He didn't offer. 1 ball, no strikes. BJ's 2 for 12 in his career against Simon, but he's knocked in 6 runs. Number 7 would be welcome right here. I don't know if they'll give him much to hit.
Putting him on.
They gave Upton 2 shots at getting himself out. He didn't oblige, so they'll walk him intentionally and face Aaron Harang.
I mean, I get that for BJ. They know he strikes out a ton, so throw him that first pitch a little off the plate, and it was really a good pitcher's pitch. He didn't offer, so it was like, okay, he's not going to help us, so we'll go to the pitcher.
Well, let's see if history repeats itself here. You talked about the hot-hitting Aaron Harang. It was the second inning, 2 outs up in Pittsburgh, that Harang singled into center field that scored the game's first run against the Pirates.
It's a nice hand here, too. The fans in Cincinnati really liked him, and well, they should, for all the things he did for this community when he was here.
When you were in the praise of Marty Brenneman, the Hall of Fame broadcaster of the Reds, that's saying something. He said Aaron Harang was one of the best guys he's ever seen here and a true professional. That is high praise indeed. First and third, 2 outs. And upstairs, 1-0.
In the Braves notes today, he was the club's nominee, the Reds nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award in 2007 and 09, the Branch Rickey Award in 07, and the Marvin Miller Man of the Year Award in 07, 08, and 09. Tremendous community service. for his original club.
Upton's running, and he'll steal second without a throw. And BJ has his 19th steal, and now a hit could score 2 Atlanta runs. Neither Phillips nor Cozart broke toward the bag. Now Harang has an even count. A little chopper toward third. Frazier has it, and he'll lob to first. And the Braves are out of luck in the second inning. They strand runners number 2 and 3 in a scoreless game. American Ballpark. Friends, the pop rock band Newsboys will perform in the Braves Summer Concert Series Sunday, August 31st. We invite you to stay after the game for a free post-game concert. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show. They're only $20 each. Act fast. Go to Braves.com/concerts today. Off day for the Braves tomorrow. We'll be in New York for a 3-game series with the Mets. Alex Wood and Dylan G will open things up on Tuesday. And after a Thursday night affair, we fly back to Atlanta and begin a weekend set with the Marlins Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the Phillies September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then we're on the road again.
It's nice of Major League Baseball to save 3 10-day road trips for the Braves right at the end of the year.
Well, they wanted to make sure you got your frequent flyer miles bumped up as high as possible before October.
Yeah, well, that last one will help in that. I mean, it'll be helped by the fact that the Braves will have some call-ups, September call-ups, right. So they'll have a little extra depth on their bench.
Harang struck out a couple of Reds in the first inning. He's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up. Mesoraco, Bruce, and Ludwig. Mesoraco's in a rough slide. He's 1 for his last 29, and that's cost him 25 points on his batting average. He was hitting .301 before these rough at bats, and he turns on that pitch and rolled it foul for a strike.
Boy, he does not get cheated.
.20 homers, 63 driven in.
A lot of guys hold their hands low in their stance, and then as the pitch is about to be delivered, they raise them up, try to get up top of the strike zone or thereabouts. He's got his hands up real high above his right shoulder, near his right ear, and then when the pitch is delivered, he drops them real low.
Well, you better have that timing right, huh?
Uh-huh.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Mesoraco, one of 5 Reds All-Stars this year.
That was the most in the National League, wasn't it?
And the man pitching for them replaced Johnny Cueto, who pitched right before the All-Star intermission. So Mesoraco is the first Reds base runner. He draws a walk. Let's see how close this one was.
Check out the Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Not close. It looks like it on that graph, but that was just off the top of the dirt when Gaddis caught it.
Here's Jay Bruce. Bruce missed some time with a bad knee, had surgery to fix the meniscus in the knee, and he hasn't been Jay Bruce this year. This is a 30-homer, 95 RBI guy almost every year, and his numbers are half that in those 2 categories, and he's hitting .219.
Not only that, but he is not taking advantage of his home ballpark, which he always has. And he's on a horrible stretch. He is 8 for his last 61. Last 16 games here with 1 RBI.
You'd think almost by accident you'd have more than 1 RBI getting in this bandbox.
You got to figure it's somebody else wearing his uniform. It's not him.
Yeah. Mesoraco at first. Harang with a 2-1 pitch. Popped up. Chris Johnson gives chase. Foul ground and no chance.
Had a sellout here last night. No sellout today, but a good crowd nonetheless.
This ballpark a lot like St. Louis. The red seats and the fans wearing the red shirts. Must be crazy when the Cardinals come to town. Can't tell who outnumbers whom. Mesoraco elite not going, and the pitch is scalded to center right at BJ, and he's got it for out number 1. First fly ball out for Harang today, and that'll bring up Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig's hit safely in 4 of his last 7 games. Despite the Reds' offensive problems, and they've had plenty of those, they're 12th in the league in average and 13th in runs. They still have a plus run differential this year. They've scored 4 more runs than their opponents this season. But they're 6 games under 500. The Braves are 6 games over 500 and have a plus 23 run differential. It's fouled off the glove of Gaddis. The most surprising team in the playoff hunt in the National League in that regard has to be the Cardinals. The Cardinals are a half game out of first place and have been outscored this year.
Yeah, their offense has really scuffled. Holliday has not had his typical Matt Holliday type year either. Yes, he did. Ludwig's given Aaron Harang fits in his career while with the Cardinals and other teams, but a .359 average against Aaron and 3 homers.
Off the facade of the upper deck, and fans battle for a souvenir and come away 0-2. Ludwig's bat heating up. 2 homers, 6 RBIs in his last 7 starts.
It's a good change. 75 miles an hour. Somehow got a piece of it. Curveball.
Ludwig's no kid. He's 36 now. And he'll be a free agent when the season ends. As that pitch missed outside. Broke in with Texas in 2002, then went to Cleveland, where injuries almost cost him his career. Serious leg problems. Rejuvenated with the Cardinals 2007, 8, and 9, then San Diego, Pittsburgh, and now his third year with the Reds. Good stop, Gaddis, backhand.
These guys are frustrating. They have been the whole series in this regard. They foul off a lot of good pitchers' pitches, and then so you think, okay, well, he's going to be chasing anything, and you move it a little bit farther off the plate or a little bit up in the zone, and then they take it, and all of a sudden it's 3-2.
Bouncer towards short. Gosselin flips to Tommy, and the turn in plenty of time. It's a double play. Aaron Harang's getting the ball on the ground in a homer-friendly ballpark. We head to the Atlanta third, where Jason Hayward leads things off. We're still looking for our first run today.
Toyota and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Top of the order for the Braves in a scoreless third inning in Cincinnati. Chip and Joe with Jen Hildreth with you from Cincinnati. Jason Hayward, Phil Gosselin, and Freddie Freeman are coming up. Let's talk a little bit about the run Jason Hayward is on. He is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature. Joe, he has had an unbelievable last month plus for the Braves.
I'll say batting average way up. It's raised his overall average for the season up over 270. On base percentage at a ridiculously high 400. And still very good production over his last 35 ball games. I'm not sure how many of those are in the leadoff spot, but the things he's doing in the leadoff spot have just been great in terms of the Braves' resurgence.
Yeah, it's almost like right now at this stage in his career, wherever he hits, he's hitting. Because in those 35 games, he's led off in 10 of them. So a lot of that work came hitting in the middle of the Braves order. Leading off for the 11th straight game today, and already with a base hit. And Simon missed to him low. 1 ball, no strikes. Hayward extended his batting streak to 6 straight games. 10 hits in his last 24 at bats. That's in keeping with the numbers you saw in the Georgia Lottery jackpot.
And if you'd asked me how many leadoff games there were in those 35, I would have said 20. It seems like he's been back in that spot a lot longer than 10 games.
In the air to shallow left, but Ludwig gains ground and puts it away. And that's out number one. We've talked a lot about the Braves not having a quote-unquote true leadoff hitter. And by that, I think we mean super speed guy, can run, put the ball on the ground, steal bases, manufacture runs. That's not Jason Hayward's game, although he's capable of doing that. You look at his frame, you look at his body, and you think, wow, middle of the lineup hitter. But for a team that doesn't have a true leadoff guy, maybe that's what he is, and maybe that's his best role for this club. Don't know. But it's nice, I'm sure, to have the flexibility of batting him up or down in the order.
That part of it is very nice, where you can use him up there.
An outside corner strike to Gosselin, who bounced out to Zach Cozart, who made a great play to get a force.
I would say until such time as that prototypical leadoff guy shows up, puts on a Braves uniform, he's doing a great job in the top spot.
That's foul to the right side, and Gosselin has a 2-2 count. Washington's home again today. They play the Giants. It's Steven Strasburg pitching for Washington. Brian Vogelsong goes for the Giants, and San Francisco's already leading 1-0 in the first. Up the middle, Cozart's not getting that one, and Gosselin keeps on hitting. His third hit of the series, and he's aboard in front of Freeman.
And robbed of a hit his first time up today.
That's upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Gosselin's not a burner at first, but he runs the bases well enough. Does have a stolen base. Let's see if he can get a good jump with 1 out. Ground ball toward Phillips. Cozart. And the flip to first in time, and the Braves are doubled up. And that ends the top of the 3rd inning. Bottom part of the order coming up for the Reds. Still scoreless. score, Harang and Simon dueling in Game 4 of our series. Join us at Turner Field Saturday, August 30th. It's Military Appreciation Night honoring the United States Navy. The Braves will wear their special red military jerseys. They'll be autographed after the game and auctioned off on Braves.com. All proceeds benefit the Share Military Initiative at the Shepherd Center. Brian Pena has been a versatile guy for the Reds. He's played first, he's caught, he's switch hits. He's batting .259 for the year. And now it's his turn to grumble about a wide strike zone from Mark Carlson.
When Brian left Atlanta, went to Kansas City, really established himself as a guy who can do just that. And play someplace other than catcher.
To second, Tommy La Stella's got it on a big hop. And Pena's 0 for his last 16.
But mostly he's done it with his bat. Spent last season with Detroit after 3.5 years in Kansas City. Hit .297 with the Tigers.
Who, by the way, I think are happy to be seeing the last of the Twins for a while today, huh?
Wow. How about that?
There was a great story yesterday for their doubleheader. The Twins scored 32 runs in 2 games against the Tigers. There's the 0-1 pitch to Cozart. The Vikings scored 38 points in 2 games against the Lions. They split a doubleheader yesterday, and Justin Verlander didn't pitch great, but pitched well enough for the Tigers to stop the bleeding in the Central. They're 3 games behind Kansas City now.
Well, I'm sure they were happy to get him back out there and see that he was able to do what he did. There was a fear he might not be able to come back.
Toward third, Chris Johnson has it hit off the heel of his glove, and he can't find it. Ball's in foul ground, and Cozart's at first. And that's the second Cincinnati base runner.
Should be a base hit.
It was.
We'll get used to Chris making all the plays, but this was a tough one just because of the hop. It was hit hard, and then he got a little bit of an in-between hop, had it roll up his arm.
Simon can handle the bat. He's got 5 sacrifices this year. 16 strikeouts and 46 at bats. And out of play.
Very, very late squaring around.
Surely he didn't forget the sign. But maybe so. He'll have to protect 0-2. And he rolls it to the grass, and it's a foul ball, and Simon can't get the bunt down. And he will be struck out. Back to first will come Cozart on the foul ball. And Billy Hamilton, who knows how to bunt, will hit with 2 men down.
Afraid he was going to have an easy play to throw him out at first base, but wisely read the spin on the baseball and saw that as soon as it got off the grass, it had a chance to then shoot foul. So he'd rather have the strikeout and have the runner come back to first. Good play by the first baseman.
Hamilton grounded out his first and only time up. That down and away strike for Aaron Harang has been gold all year long.
Money pitch. Hamilton will be 24 years old in just a couple of weeks. 6 feet 160 is the way he's listed. He looks even smaller than that from up here, but he's going to get a little bigger. He's going to fill out some, and not at the expense of his speed. You mentioned that he was going to Mississippi State to play football as a wide receiver. I mean, he's built like every classic college slot receiver now that can fly.
1-1 count. We were talking about this before the game. We were talking about a problem that maybe Hamilton has too. How do you keep weight on playing in this heat and humidity all summer long in Cincinnati?
You've really got to get your rest. If they count on him to play every day, you got to get your rest every night. Take advantage of the off days. And you got to eat.
We don't have that problem now, do we?
Been meaning to talk to you about that.
Hey, I'm not the one that had the Gold Star chili yesterday. That was somebody else on the crew who will remain nameless. 2-2 pitch.
Not me.
In the air toward left. Justin Upton drifts back, and he's got it to retire the side. Speaking of the devil, Justin Upton will lead things off for Atlanta in the fourth. Our on deck trio brought to you by Delta, still scoreless. All of a sudden, this has become the world's greatest pitcher's park, at least as far as this series is concerned. And Justin Upton will try to change that. He's our Yellowwood brand bringing the lumber feature.
Well, he's certainly been fulfilling the Yellowwood bringing the lumber lately. And he brought it with him on this road trip. He got shut down last night, snapped his hitting streak, but that big game-winning homer there a couple of nights ago, huge for Atlanta. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show today, about how in the Braves wins, they're hitting with runners in scoring position is over 300. When they're losing, it's under 200. That's what's all of a sudden jumped up and bitten them again.
Braves have scored 11 runs in 30 innings in this series. The Reds have scored only 2. But they won 1-0 last night. Braves won the series opener 8-0. Won game 2 3-1. And no score here in the fourth.
Braves almost have as many runs as hits. Scott just told me the Reds have 13 hits now to the 11 runs.
Frazier at third got a friendly hop and a perfect throw.
Well, it seems like we all know that you got to keep the ball down in this ballpark. That's kind of a given. But it's like everybody had a real quick refresher course on this too before this series, because with the exception of the first night when the Braves beat up on them, everybody else has done a really good job of keeping the ball down and keeping it in the ballpark.
Especially Mike Minor, who got some help from Roger McDowell and Irvin Santana, we understand,
right,
finding a couple of his pitches. Boy, that came in handy in game 2. Sharply hit. Cozart surrounds it and throws out Chris at first. 2 out.
Will you come in here and play a 4-game series, and we're in the 4th inning of game 4, and there have only been 2 homers hit? When we had that graphic earlier of the last 26 games, there have been 75 homers hit.
Right.
There's some pitching going on here.
Well, this is game number 956 in the history of the Great American Ballpark. Last night was only the 83rd game played without a homer, at least one. So fewer than or less than 10% of all games here have been like what you saw yesterday. And especially this time of year when it's hot, the ball really flies out. Two balls, no strikes. Ouch. Gaddis couldn't get out of the way of that one, and he's hit with 2 outs.
My, oh my. I swear he's got like deflector shields.
He might.
Foul balls, everything. They just kind of bounce off and he goes on about his way.
Side of the knee, right?
Yeah.
And not even a grimace. Here's Tommy La Stella. Don't hit it to Cozart, Tommy. He's been there every time. And that's high. Ball 2. He hits it to Phillips at second, who will flip to Cozart. And that'll take care of Atlanta in the 4th. 3 ground ball outs. Still no score.
At least so far, no score as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And for the Braves, their pitching coach has some ties to this town. In fact, he is the subject of today's Synovus Greatness Made Here, because Roger McDowell literally was made here. He was born in Cincinnati, attended Colerain High School, where he told me he actually played against Jeff Russell, And he attended Bowling Green State University, where he was an all-MAC pitcher, inducted into their Hall of Fame. And he told me there's a couple of things he always has to do. He's got to go visit where his dad was buried across the river in Kentucky. He said he always rents a car, goes and does that when he comes to Cincinnati. And, Chip, he goes to Skyline Chili, where, yes, I also visited yesterday. See, the locals do it. I'm doing the right thing.
You're trying to fit in, aren't you?
Yes.
Now, was it 2 Rolaids thumbs up, or was it good stuff yesterday?
Let's just stick with it being all good. It's all good.
5-way? 3-way?
3-way.
3-way, okay. She's a bold girl.
From cheesesteaks to chili, she's got it covered in the National League so far in 2014.
Yeah.
Making my mark, fellas.
Hot shot and past Gosselin into left field for Todd Frazier. So his first hit of the day, and Harang has his second leadoff man aboard. That's the second Cincinnati hit. Here's Phillips. Phillips took a disputed strike 3 in the first. I would assume both offense now are on notice. If it's reasonable, swing the bat. Letter high strike. It's 0-1. Phillips in the middle of a long contract. He signed through 2017. And he has been a big-time run producer here since putting on a Reds uniform. Terrific defender, 87 straight games without an error. Won the Gold Glove at second last year for the Reds. He's 12th all time in home runs as a Red.
He's like, it's like we say when people keep grounding out to Andrelton Simmons, you better find somebody else. If you hit a ground ball to Brandon Phillips, so we're going to pop fly as he made a great catch here last night. You better pick on someone else.
He makes it look so easy too. I don't want to use the term nonchalant because that has such a bad ring to it, but he plays with such confidence that it's almost like there's no play that he can't say been there, done that, and make. Fun to watch hit, fun to watch play. And Harang missed with a short hop. Gaddis with a backhanded stop, even count.
Well, he's gotten a call on those outside fastballs against Phillips. The one for the strikeout in the first inning and a couple here this at bat. Tried to go back that same spot, but kind of spiked it.
Lined over second and into right field. Hayward handles a third hop. And Frazier stops at second, and the Reds have something cooking. Second time through the order. 2 on, nobody out for Mesoraco. As we told you, Mesoraco sliding at the plate, 1 for 29, but he walked last time. And surprisingly, he's a tough man to double up. He's only hitting to 4 double plays. Harang could use one of those here. He gets a fly ball to left and right at Upton.
When you hold your hands that low and drop them that low as he does, you're going to hit him a lot of ground balls. You're going to be lifting, uppercutting. Hit that one on the button. Breaking ball in the middle of the plate. That was very fortunate for Aaron that it was hit right at somebody.
Bruce lined out to center. He's 0 for 1 and no hits in his last 13.
Yeah, this is the guy that scares me today. I mean, he's been so bad here at home it just can't continue. You wonder how long it goes.
The Braves are hoping 5 more innings.
Yeah.
Bruce out of Beaumont, Texas, hometown of Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. It surprised me when I read it. He's only 27 years old. It seems like he's been here a decade. He first got to the big leagues in 2008. He's got 178 lifetime homers, including 3 straight years of 30 or more.
Is that right? That's a lot. Almost 180 homers in 6 seasons. That's, yeah,
pretty salty, huh?
Yep, pretty salty.
And he's come back from a broken right wrist. That was in 2009. That had to concern the Reds. He came back the next year, hit 25. He's an elite home run hitter. He's ahead here, 2 balls and a strike. And there's that down and away strike from Harang.
Take a look at the Sherwin-Williams painting the corners, and boy did he ever there. Perfect pitch.
Fastball just missed inside. One of Aaron's better heaters today. That one clocked in the 91-mile-an-hour range.
Well, he went from one quadrant to the other. He went from the low and away corner to the up and in corner. Just didn't get the call.
That's a fair ball. Great play, Freeman. Harang broke late to the bag, and that'll cost him. Marvelous play by Freeman to keep that ball on the infield. That loads the bases. It saved at least 1 run. But what could have been was the second out. Instead, they're loaded with 1 down.
Could have been an out if he gets over there. I think Aaron must have thought it was going to be a foul ball the way Freddie was heading to the line. But like you said, I think he probably saved 2 runs. I know it saved 1, but Phillips might have scored all the way from first on this. Heck of a play by Freeman.
So the first chance of the day for the Reds. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Ludwig is the hitter. He doubled up in the second. Ludwig this year has been their version of Tommy LaStella with the bases loaded. He's 5 for 10. 2 of those 5 hits were doubles.
This is a huge part of this ball game, huge place in this ball game, because neither team has been rattling the scoreboard over the last 3 games, especially the Reds. And when we've just talked about how they've only had 13 hits in the series coming into this inning, this may be the only opportunity they get the way things have been going.
As I mentioned earlier, remember, Harang was flirting with a complete game at his last outing. Don't know how much he's going to have today on this hot, muggy afternoon. 1-1 pitch. In the air toward right, long run Hayward. He's going to get there on a dive, and tagging at third and scoring will be Frazier. What a play by Hayward to save a couple of runs. Ludwig, though, delivers a sacrifice fly. That's the second out of the inning, and the Reds jump in front.
This is definitely one of those plays that applies to that defensive run saved, because while they scored one, he saved another, at least one more. Terrific play by Hayward here.
So first and third, 1-0 Cincinnati for Brian Pena. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Pena brings home Phillips, and the Reds lead 2-0. 4 hits in the inning. And not covering first has cost Aaron dearly in this inning.
Big time. And one of the other things about this series that the Braves should have learned is how much Brian Pena likes to swing at the first pitch.
Two in, 2 on, 2 out for Cozart. He has an infield hit and a strike. Bounding ball foul and out of play.
Couple breaking balls this inning that he didn't get on top of. Just had some spin working.
Line over first and fair. Here comes Bruce around third. He's going to score. Pena's on his way to third, and it's a huge Cincinnati inning. 3 runs on 5 hits. And Cozart's 32nd RBI.
The second time through the order has proven beneficial to the Reds for sure, but also they've been accommodated by a couple of mistakes by Aaron in location. That pitch was up, but you only have to go back to the failure to cover first. He could have been out of the inning with no runs.
So the Reds will clear their pitcher Simon, who tried to bunt his first time and pushed it foul on strike 3. So a Reds uprising. 3 runs on 6 hits in the game. Little tapper to first, and Freeman's going to go to second, where Gosselin covers the bag. Big inning for Alfredo Simon's offense. 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 left. 5th inning, 3-0 Cincinnati. Hot, muggy August Sunday. The SS Scooter. See the home of the Braves in a whole new way. Take a behind-the-scenes tour of the Braves press box, broadcast booth, clubhouse, and dugout. Tours begin in the Braves Museum and Hall of Fame. For more information, call 404-614-2311. Bottom part of the order for the Braves now. B.J. Upton, Aaron Harang, and then Jason Hayward. 3-0 Cincinnati. In the air toward right center. Billy Hamilton on the run is going to get there. A step onto the warning track. A rare deep fly ball today, surprisingly. But Upton's out number one. And here is Harang. Braves got to come back in this one. Harang has never lost to the Reds. 3-0 lifetime against them in 4 starts. But in close games, little things mean a lot. And as we mentioned a moment ago, not covering first cost him 3.
And an all-important shutdown inning for Simon to try to put a 0 up on the board. And he's got the right part of the order to do it.
And while Aaron's up there, let's take a look at our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Aaron Harang led the league in wins and strikeouts in 2006. Named the only other righty in the last 10 years to do that in the senior circuit. Wins and strikeouts. That's a good question. And Aaron swings through that one. He's out number 2 in the inning. Second strikeout. Make that third strikeout, I beg your pardon, for Simon.
Right-handed pitcher. In the last 10 years, did it say?
Wins and Ks. And here again is the question. The first 2 that came to mind for me were Tim Lincecum and Chris Carpenter of Cardinals.
Chance Roy Halladay's on there.
Add him to the list. I really miss watching that guy pitch, to be honest with you. Fun to watch. Here's Hayward. Jason 1 for 2. The Braves have 3 hits. Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
Big lollipop.
He stopped everything except his arm. 61 miles an hour. Watch everything just stop. No follow through. And got a call too.
And then he comes back with a 91 mile an hour fastball that might look like a bullet train. He missed with it though. Ball and 2 strikes. Too far outside.
That's pretty good spread.
Swing and a miss. Simon does have the all-important shutdown inning, and the top of his order will go back to work. He enjoys a 3-run lead in the 5th. In round-trip airfare anywhere Delta flies in the continental U.S., 2 nights hotel accommodations, and $250 spending cash. Enter on your mobile devices or computer at foxsports.com/south/Delta. Good luck. Top of the Reds order in the 5th before Cincinnati comes up. Let's check in again with Jen.
Well, Chip, I know you guys talked earlier, as did I in the pregame show, about Aaron Harang coming back to Cincinnati, where he spent 8 years from 2003 to 2010. And I asked Aaron about that, if he felt he was a different pitcher now, and he attributed the fact that he is to what he went through here. He said, I had to learn to pitch here. They told me you're going to go out there, you're going to throw 110 pitches, so you better learn how to get out of jams and tough situations. Finds himself in a bit of a tough situation now, but as we've seen getting to know this guy, if there's anybody who can bounce back from a costly mistake, it's maybe Aaron Harang.
I agree, Jen. You know that he went in the dugout and beat himself up for not covering first, and wants to figure out a way to shut him out the rest of the way, give his team a chance.
Well, you saw what Aaron Harang did on our graphic for the trivia question. You lead the league in wins and strikeouts. You're doing great work. And whether it was in this ballpark or the one across the street, both of these places are not the friendliest of places for pitchers to work. But remember, Aaron Harang came up to the big leagues as an Oakland A, then was traded to the Reds. As Hamilton taps one toward third, gotta hurry, and Hamilton almost outran the baseball, but he's out number 1.
That's a tough decision there for the third baseman. He can, with a fast runner, do I wait and get a hop that I know the ball's going to come up, or do I, knowing he's fast, overcharge the ball and the chance of getting an in-between hop? Chris has a good arm, waited for the bounce, and had enough on the throw to get him.
And to finish the Harang story, when the Reds let him know he wasn't going to come back and they were going to let him leave as a free agent, Aaron, who did learn how to pitch here, really grew up as a major league player, openly wept in the locker room after that final game, knowing that one baseball chapter was ending and another was beginning. So for him to come back here and pitch is always a pleasure for him.
Well, this community loved him.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody told me today that they didn't know if there was another professional athlete, baseball or football, in this city that had done more for the community, that had donated more of his time, energy, and money to causes in this city than Aaron Harang. That this city loved him.
I hope Atlanta fans appreciate what he's done this year. 10 wins, and maybe, if not his best, maybe his second best pitching season in the major leagues, considering how late he came to the Braves and how unexpectedly well he has performed. Harang's 10-7 this year. Other than 2 games against the Dodgers, he's been in almost every single start he's made. By in, I mean in the game, a chance to win it, or to give his team a chance to win it.
Well, take a look at this. His ERA is the lowest in his career. His home runs are the best in his career, and more quality starts than any other season, including 06.
Is Aaron Harang 16-7, 15-7? No. But you ask Freddie Gonzalez and Roger McDowell how much it means to know you can pencil him into your starting rotation every 5th day, and that he's good for 6 or 7 innings every time out. They'll tell you. In this day and age, it's almost priceless.
Watch Brandon on this first pitch. I don't know if he called timeout. He must have, because he put the bat down and it was called a strike.
And he just lined out to center for the 3rd and final out of the inning. 6th inning, 3-0 Reds. Be careful out there on the mighty waters of the Ohio River. 3-0's our score. Time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. That'd be a cool way to come to a game here in Cincinnati. Get your motorboat, dock right outside the right field wall, and come in to see the Reds play at the Great American Ballpark.
Great place to tailgate.
Gosselin, Freeman, and Upton coming up. And a pop-up out of play foul. It's 0-2. Is that what they call it when you party on the boat? Is it tailgating?
I don't know. I couldn't come up with a better one.
You can tell when the boaters have been overserved, they're walking very straight and orderly right down to the water line. National League Central, 3 great river cities with wonderful baseball histories. Of course, the Cardinals on the banks of the mighty Mississippi, the Reds here on the Ohio, and the Pirates at the confluence.
Yeah, that's good. Just stop there.
Thank you. And we've got the Chattahoochee coming soon, so look out.
Yeah.
Phil couldn't stop himself, and he's rung up by Mark Carlson. That's 5 strikeouts for Simon. By the way, we had Gretchen look it up a minute ago. This is the 4th game of the series. 2 of the first 3 games have been decided in shutout fashion. In the history of this ballpark, there has never been a series where 3 of the 4 games were decided by one team being shut out. Right now, the Braves have yet to score their first run. They won 8-0. They lost 1-0, and they're trailing by 3 today.
So far, Simon really hasn't needed that curve. The trouble with the curve is still a problem for him, but he hasn't needed it for outs. He's done it with his fastball, which has had good movement on it today. His split and that 60-mile-an-hour floater.
Popped up. Frazier long run. Ludwig will join him, and there will be no play. 2 balls and a strike. The Jekyll and Hyde nature of the Braves offense is in play in this series. No runs, 3 hits. And a live fastball missed off the plate.
Both teams had a quick turnaround last night after the almost 2-hour rain delay. Game that lasted over 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Smoke toward first, and that really handcuffed Pena. And Bryant stayed with it, and the ball caught him for out number 2.
Look at Brendan Phillips. He's standing there with his hands on his hips like, why are you jumping? He's such a delight, and he's always smiling, but something like that, he's going to laugh the rest of the day.
Hey, the fans down the right field line are giving him some some love. And Justin Upton pops the first one up a mile high. Who wants this? It'll be Frazier, and he's got it right in front of the plate. Freddie Freeman hit a rocket to Brian Pena. And the Braves are out in order in the 6th. Von Stupp from Blazing Saddles. A wet woozy. How love we. Aaron Harang back to work. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question.
I don't even care after that.
Yeah, I'll bet. Neither do I, but what the heck. Harang led the league in wins and strikeouts 8 years ago. There's only one other guy in the last 10 years to do that. Any guesses?
I'm going to stick with Roy Halladay.
I'm going to go with Tim Lincecum. He's got a couple of Cy Young awards. Right division, wrong guy. Jake Peavy. I think a lot of folks in our league who follow the game casually forget how good a pitcher Jake Peavy was in San Diego.
Won a Cy Young, didn't he?
Might have, don't know. Top of my head. I know he's had tough times of late. He had a winless streak of 19 games or something like that.
I think he got that exercised, I think. I thought he won it.
Yeah, he did win the Cy that year, Gretchen says.
07.
And bounty ball foul. Oh, that took somebody's batting helmet off the ledge. Senzo with the Good Housekeeping Award.
Probably his helmet, one he wears out to coach third.
Devin Mesoraco, the batter. And downstairs. Frustrating day for the Braves, getting shut out 3-0. Giants are winning 5-0. Steven Strasburg pitching for the Nationals today. Never know what you're going to get out of that guy. For Washington, look out, and the bat ends up in the camera well, and Mesoraco will head back to the Cincinnati dugout. He's 0 for 2, and that's 5 strikeouts for Aaron today.
Just as we were talking about when the Braves were on their winning streak and playing good baseball, and how when the Giants and Nationals were going to play, I said, you know, if you just win, you're going to gain ground on somebody. It doesn't matter who. Well, if you lose, you're going to lose ground to somebody, one or the other.
And a sidebar to that is you lose another day off the calendar. The game games left is starting to be, if not a concern, certainly something to be aware of. There aren't many left. 31.
Yeah, 31 after today.
The Pena and Cozart hits are the ones that will get all the attention on the highlight shows after the game, but it was the Jay Bruce infield hit that to this point is the biggest hit in the game. It was the shot down the first base line that Freeman flagged. Orang thought it was going foul, didn't get to the bag. That loaded the bases. Then Ludwig a sac fly. Pena and Cozart's hits followed, and it was just like that, 3-0.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when the hit that did the most damage didn't drive in a run.
Ready for pitch 100. And it's fouled back. Jay Bruce has had a very prestigious career, especially in his younger days as an amateur or as a minor league player. He was Baseball America's minor league player of the year. Mike Trout won that award. Jason Hayward has won that award. Joe Mauer, Rocco Baldelli. Ground ball scoots through the right side for a hit. Andrew Jones won it twice. And our old pal Mike Bilecki won it way back in 1984.
Freddie Freeman upset with himself. Once he looked back and saw that ball go through, he was mad at himself for not going after it. I'm not sure that he could have gotten over there even with a dive to knock it down, but he was mad for not making the effort.
So Bruce snapped out of his 0 for 13 with 2 consecutive hits. And here's Ludwig. He's hit into a double play, and he's hit into a sacrifice fly. And nearly got hit. 1 ball, no strikes. Cardinals are losing. The Phillies are beating them 5-1 in the 4th inning. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee tied 2-2 in the 2nd.
Well, Pittsburgh's gone in and done some damage against Milwaukee after always having a hard time winning at Miller Park.
They've won the first 2 games of that series. And entering play at Miller Park, the Pirates were 37 and 77 all time in the Brewers Dome Stadium. And so Milwaukee's lead now just a half game over St. Louis in the Central.
12 and 51 there over their last 63 before that series.
Bernie the Brewer must have the signs.
Mike got a big old head and big eyes. So he might have some X-ray type vision.
Runner goes. The pitch, a ball. Gaddis's throw is there, but I guess LaStella couldn't get the tag down in time. Looked like he had him beat. Now in the world did Bruce beat the play.
Looks like LaStella's glove was in line with the baseline, and maybe Bruce went to the right field side of the bag, which caused him to whiff on it. Good throw in time. Just whiffed on him. Bruce kind of rolled a little bit to roll his left shoulder up toward right field and missed him altogether.
The Braves' pen is busy as Harang has a man in scoring position, and Ludwig now a full count.
This would be a great angle from high first. Yep. They whiff.
Can't give the Reds any more. They already lead 3-0. Ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. Now Brian Pena is the batter. He's switch hits. He's got an RBI single in 2 tries. And you hope you can get the ball on the ground. And now Roger McDowell will make his way to the hill. Give David Carpenter a few extra tosses in the pen. We'll make our way to New York after the game this afternoon. The big game in Major League Baseball other than ours today will take place out on the West Coast, where they are shaken and rattled a bit. How about the earthquake in Napa overnight? But they are expected to have baseball in Oakland this evening, where the Angels and A's meet in the final game of their series. Everything in the AL West, Joe, is knotted up. They're tied atop the division. Yeah, it was kind of scary news coming out of the Sonoma and Napa Valley area. They said that earthquake, which was 6.0, 6.1, depending on the news reports you read, was the strongest earthquake in that area since the '89 quake that interrupted the World Series. So hope everybody's safe out west. And we hope for a good game. By the way, keep an eye on the Mariners. They're only 6 back out west and playing very well. Here's Pena. On strike. There's only one Red who's hit into 10 double plays this year, and that's Zach Cozart. He's on deck. Pena's hit into 8 of them. Bruce singled, stole second. Ludwig walked. He's at first. High hopper hit toward short. Gosselin in between, bounce. Couldn't decide, and that cost him. Infield hit, and they're loaded.
This was a difficult read. He's bird dogging the base runner. Then the base runner breaks on a steal, and for Gosselin, stutter step, and all that stutter step turned into was an in-between hop, and he knows it. Tough day for Aaron Harang on his return to Cincinnati.
He trails by 3. He leaves with 3 left on base. David Carpenter is in a mess in the home 6th.
And it features pitcher Mike Minor and the gem he threw out on Friday night. 4 outs away from a no-hitter. Couldn't quite get it done, as Billy Hamilton would eventually break this up with 2 outs in the 8th inning. But Mike Minor going as deep as he has with no hits in a major league game. Fantastic performance. And despite the hit that actually tied the 1-run game, Braves able to come out with a win.
How about that response from the fans here, too? So I'm tip his cap. Great response.
So David Carpenter versus Zach Cozart. As we told you, he's their team leader in double plays, but Cozart 2 for 2. All Harang can do is watch and hope his pen can help his cause. And Zach is quickly behind 0-2.
David worked here in the first game of the series. An inning. Zeros across with a strikeout. Picked up a tough luck loss in Pittsburgh the last game of that series.
Ground ball to third. Johnson to second for 1. On to first. Close and safe. 2 long throws, and Cozart beats the Rapid first, and the Reds score a 4th run. Carpenter got the ground ball right to third baseman Chris Johnson.
I don't think the base runner caused Chris any trouble here, and he got rid of it quickly. Nothing wrong with Tommy's exchange. Freddie Freeman out to question it, but Cozart can run, and it appeared there that he was safe.
Cozart got to the big leagues for the first time in 2011. He played 11 games, and then a fateful circumstance took place against Atlanta. He hurt his left elbow, tore the ulnar collateral ligament, and had surgery to take care of that problem, and didn't play again until the next season for Cincinnati. He gets an RBI, 4th run of the game in for the Reds, and now Alfredo Simon with 2 outs. Play. So Aaron Harang got to the bag late, which cost him 3 runs. The Braves unable to tag out Jay Bruce on a stolen base attempt, and then they aren't able to turn a double play on a hard hit ball to third. All of that adds up to 4 Cincinnati runs. Look out, folks, into the second deck off to our right. It's 0-2.
Their stadium club is down the right field line at the end of the stands, down the first base line, and it's like it's well inhabited today right there on the glass.
Swing and a miss. And Simon is retired, and so are the Reds. But the Braves haven't been able to make a few plays today, and that's cost Aaron Harang dearly. The Braves right-hander a little frustrated in his homecoming to the Great American Ballpark. He trails by 4. A 4-0 score. Braves baseball on Hyundai Sundays brought to you by your local Hyundai dealer. Aaron Harang has been chased. Alfredo Simon has a 6-inning shutout working. He's allowed just 3 hits so far today. Pop rock band Newsboys performing the Braves Summer Concert Series Sunday, August 31st. Free concert after the game. $20 gets you a limited VIP field pass for the show. Go to braves.com/concerts for more.
Newsboys. Simon's last start came at St. Louis. He got a no decision. The team lost 5-4. He pitched into the 6th inning. Gave up 3 runs, including a homer. But the team got beat 5-4.
Popped up. Foul ground. Pena won't have a play.
Those 7 starts we talked about on Simon since the All-Star break, that he's 0-5 in those starts. The team is 0-7.
His first start against the Braves. Atlanta's had their hands full. That's hammered down the left field line and foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Luis Avilan is up in the Braves bullpen. It appears he'll be next when the Reds hit in the bottom of the inning. Johnson's down swinging. 6 strikeouts for Simon.
This is a pre-All-Star game type outing for Alfredo.
Last win July 9th. And he's got a big lead today. Here's Gaddis. Got his strikeout high at 8. It was May 16th when he shut out the Phillies 3-0.
He's a ground ball guy. He relies on that 2-seamer and his breaking ball, but neither one of those have been working lately.
Crossfire action, and he wanted the call, didn't get it.
First time he's dropped down today. That was a pretty good pitch, just off on our Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Needed a wider brush.
That's hammered toward the gap in left center, and Billy Hamilton's not getting that, baby. It's off the base of the wall. Evan Gaddis is on his way to second, and he'll stand with a 1-out double. Hardest hit ball of the game for Atlanta. In fact, last night ESPN tracked the Braves of having 1 hard hit ball in the entire game.
Well, that one qualifies, and it was one of the few mistakes that Simon has made today. Left something up in the eyes of Evan Gaddis. Looked like a breaking ball. Just a spinner up there. And almost a home run. Be nice to get that run back that they just gave up.
So Jeff Pico's on his way to the mound, and he'll talk with Simon. The Reds bullpen has begun to work. This is a welcome sign for Cincinnati, not only because, as we mentioned, it's been a while since this man has won a game. It's been a while since Simon's taken a game as deep as 7 innings. In fact, going back to that July 9th game, Simon's pitched more than 5 innings exactly twice. He had one 7-inning game against Arizona. He lost that one. And he had a no decision last time out against the Cardinals. He went 5 1/3. Everything else has been 5 innings on the button or less. Today he's at 6 1/3. Blowing in to Tommy La Stella. Hot shot inside the bag, fair down the left field line, and the Braves are on the board. Tommy La Stella doubles home Gaddis. Back-to-back extra base hits for Atlanta. And all of a sudden the Braves fans here in Cincinnati have reason to cheer. They're right back in the game. It's now a 4-1 score.
Just took it the other way. Pitch was down and away. And speaking of Sherwin-Williams painting the corners, he painted the line down the line between Frazier and the left field line. Chance to cut the lead down to 2 or less.
Ball P.J. Upton. He's been walked intentionally, and he's flying out to center. Told you, Upton, 6 lifetime RBIs against Simon. Looking for his first hit of the series.
Last couple of innings too with the lead, and especially when it got up to 4 runs, he started going to his fastball more and airing it out. That's at least 3 or 4 pitches this inning where he's been at 95.
Popped up by the Reds dugout and right into the middle of it. No play. David Hale has joined Luis Avilan in the bullpen for the Braves. David Carpenter's spot is due next. Ryan Domet grabbed the bat and will come on to pinch hit. So no shutout for either club today. The Braves have scored their first run here in the 7th. In the air center, Hamilton back, still going back. He's going to make the catch. La Stella will tag at second, and he'll move to third. That ball was slicing away from Billy Hamilton. But B.J. Upton's retired for out number 2, and here is Ryan Doman.
That's twice today. He's hit the ball hard that way to deep right center. And in each case, Hamilton's run it down. Well, that'd be a really nice run to pick up down there at third base here.
David Carpenter, 2/3 of an inning scoreless with a strikeout. And let's see what Doman can do. '57 pinch hit appearances for Ryan Doman. He's got 10 hits and 5 RBIs. Braves pinch hitters collectively this year have 24 hits and 146 at bats. That's a 164 average.
Yeah, that's way off. I think it slid a little bit last year, but 2-3 years before that, they were up near the top of baseball.
Roller towards second. As we said, that's the wrong guy to try to test. Phillips throws out Doman. The Braves settle for a run on 2 doubles in the 7th inning. And we stretch in Cincy. 4-1 now. Reds lead it.
Sherwin-Williams.
Bottom 7, 4-1. Cincinnati has the lead. Before we tell you about the Atlanta changes, let's send it back to Jen.
Well, Chip, as you know, it is a hot one here in Cincinnati today, and it's kind of interesting what the Braves have done to try to get themselves cooled off. Just beside me here down this tunnel next to their dugout, they have what looks like a big blower, and I found out what it is actually what they use to inflate like those bouncy houses, so it really projects the air out pretty fast and pretty far. And there's been a line of guys down there trying to cool off. I'm not going to lie, I might have visited there myself a time or two.
Good idea. Yeah. Smart girl.
Pretty day, though.
Especially since you don't have a partner with you down there whose primary job is just to fan me, like keep me cool. So.
And I have to, because there's so much hot air coming from this side of the booth. You need all the help you can get on an 80%, 88-degree day. 80% being the humidity. So it's thick. And so is the action on the diamond, where the Braves are trailing 4-1, home 7th. And David Hale's going to come on and pitch. Saturday, it's Military Appreciation Night. As you see David Hale work and loosen up.
Worked 2 days ago.
We salute David, and we'll salute the U.S. Navy. Let's do the promo first, Joe. That's my fault. Braves will wear their special red military jerseys. Those will be autographed, as you know.
Well, I guess Navy ought to be yelling, singing Anchors Away, huh?
Go ahead. You want to? You ready? Should we start over?
Yeah.
Okay. Come out to Turner Field Saturday, August the 30th for Military Appreciation Night. Braves will wear their special red military jerseys, autograph them after the game, and they'll be auctioned off on Braves.com. All the proceeds benefit the Share Military Initiative at the Shepherd Center. Well done.
That's all I know. Sorry to say.
Good enough. 38 games now for David Hale. And Hamilton, the first man to greet him.
Fourth game on this road trip for David. 2 in Pittsburgh, 1 here.
Again in the air. And Hamilton's retired. I keep thinking back to Major League. Every time Willie Mays Hayes hit the ball in the air, he stopped and had to do 20 push-ups. That's what Hamilton ought to think about. But when he figures it out, he is going to be, not that he isn't already, he's really going to be a dynamic, exciting player once he learns how to harness his speed and use it to his advantage while at the plate. Good start for Hale. Hamilton's 0 for 4, and here's Frazier. He's 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts.
David Hale's had a good year. He started in the rotation, moved to the bullpen. He's done a good job there, filling whatever need Freddie Gonzalez has, whether it's long relief or just picking up an inning here like this.
That's launched. Off the facade of the second deck, and Frazier's homer.
And I jinxed him.
We mentioned earlier tonight that the All-Star Game festivities will take place in July next year. The Home Run Derby will be a new 3-day extravaganza because it may not end in time to start the game.
That's right. First home run hit by the Reds in this series comes in the 7th inning of Game 4. Okay, we get it. They've had so many fireworks backed up in the system that
the smoke clears for Brandon Phillips, who has singled and scored. 5-1, Reds lead.
It's only the 3rd homer David's given up in 73 innings.
Mark Carlson's looking back at the press box like, hey, we get it, like you said. And strike 2. Jen, is there a reason why they misfired a moment ago?
Well, what I've been told is that the barge out on the river, there's some wind coming through, and the wind actually caused them to go off. It's called a fire hop, apparently.
Fire hop?
Sure.
Never heard of such a thing.
I've been to a sock hop.
So how? All right, Jen, we're going to have you do some more. How does the wind cause a fire hop? We got 2 innings left to find that answer.
I'll try. They said that it's not like it's happened before. This is a rare occurrence, so let me see what I can dig into to figure that out.
Never heard of that term. Never heard of wind causing fireworks to go off either.
Well, neither is anyone in Cincinnati, but the guy out there that kept setting them off, he just invented it.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you eat too much of the chili, I can see the fire hop, but not. Check swing, foul pass first.
He turned to his pal and goes, Billy, quick, what we got? Wind hop. Wind hop. Okay. Good.
Full count pitch for Brandon Phillips. And Hale lost it. Homer, then a walk. Rays have issued 3 walks on the day. 2 of them were by starter Aaron Harang. Good crowd again today in Cincy. 29,642. Reds have gone over 2 million in attendance. They're averaging over 31,000 fans per game. This is their 65th home game. And they've got the Cubs coming in next.
From your experience with the Cubs, I know the Cubs and the Cardinals are, it's just a knockdown drag out all the time. But is that rivalry also a tough one here with Cincinnati?
Not as much. It wasn't as fierce.
Okay.
It wasn't as bitter as the Cardinals Cubs one was. I mean, that rivalry took a big bolt when Kyle Farnsworth planted Paul Wilson, bench clearing brawl.
Yeah, that was amazing. Did that happen here?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was Wrigley. That was at Wrigley. Wilson was turning around to bunt. Farnsworth came up and in with a pitch. Wilson took exception to the placement of the pitch and sort of took one step to the mound and then looked and said, "Oh my God, what am I doing?"
Uh-oh.
And then he had to go, and
it was a great head in the chest tackle by Farnsworth.
Yeah. Mesoraco rolls one foul. Have had a good run here the last 8 to 10 years in Cincinnati. They've put some really good teams on the field. This one has to rank as one of the most disappointing ones because of injury. As Mesoraco went to a knee and missed that ball by a good 1.5 feet. He's out number 2, and he struck out twice.
Remember, they made a managerial change too.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker had been here for several years. They'd been to the postseason 4 straight years, I think it is, and made a change, brought in Brian Price. Brian Price had no control over all the injuries.
Yeah, the Reds went to the division series in 2010, were swept by the Phillies. Lost 3 games to 2 to the Giants in 2012. And then last year, the Reds made it as a wild card team and were beaten by the Pirates 6-2.
So that 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah. Bouncing ball over first, headed towards second. Listella from the outfield grass makes the play. And that will take care of Cincinnati in the 7th. Todd Frazier has hit his 22nd homer, and the Reds enjoy another 4-run lead.
property of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
We are through 7 in Cincinnati. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. The day is done for Alfredo Simon. He was very impressive. 7 innings of 1-run ball. Joe, 99 pitches, 60 strikes. And for a man that had all kinds of trouble taking the game deep, he had very little trouble today against the Braves offense.
And only 1 walk, and that was an intentional pass. He was aggressive. His fastball was lively, had some good sinking action to it, and racked up 6 strikeouts in the process too. So a good turnaround for him. Braves still have 6 outs.
And they'll have the top of the order up to face Manny Parra, a man they've seen already in this series.
Yeah, that 1 loss you see on his record was handed to him here in that extra inning game in which Justin Upton took him deep.
And you'd like to see Upton come up in this inning. He's due 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, the Braves would have base runners. And they need a bunch of them, down 4 with, as you said, 6 outs left. They got him. The old bubble gum on the bottom of the cup and top of the hat trick. Got Alex Wood for a minute. Strike 1 for Jason Hayward, who's 1 for 3. And a little low. And now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Talking about that 2012 division series for the Reds against the Giants. Reds led 2-0. They won game 1 5-2, 9-0 in game 2, and came back to Cincinnati and lost the next 2. As Hayward pops 1 up, and then in fact they lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, I covered that series. It was a very interesting dynamic going into our manager meetings for that, and talking to Bruce Bochy, and his team's down 2-0, and he was all shucks. I don't know. We'll go out there and see what we can do. Our guys will try to put something together. And on the other side, Dusty and Walt Jocketty, who was in the manager meeting, it was almost like the pressure was on them to finish it. You know, they'd gone up 2-0, and they were kind of fidgety and feeling like, we got to get this over with, and they never were able to.
Yeah, they had Bailey, they had Leake, and they had Latos stacked up with a 2-0 lead over the Giants. They lost game 3 2-1. They lost game 4 8-3. Tim Lincecum got the victory. And then game 5, Buster Posey had a grand slam.
I think in that Lincecum win, I think that was in relief.
It was.
And they went on to win the whole shebang, and he continued to work out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it was a game started by Barry Zito. As Hayward checked to swing. The Giants won game 4, the 12th straight game. They had a victory in a game started by Zito, who lasted 2 2/3 innings that day. So between that and barely squeaking into the wild card game last year with a 90-72 record, Reds decided it was a time for a change. And Brian Price is indeed the Cincinnati manager. Hayward, did he tip it? Apparently so. He'll stay alive. The ball was in the dirt.
As Rocco tried to steal it, showed the ball to Mark Carlson, but Mark Carlson immediately looked at Laz Diaz to see if it hit the ground, and Laz said yes. Oh, of course it did. Maybe Mesoraco was just handing him the ball for a new baseball.
And Hayward walks. All help is accepted. Lefty walk brings up Phil Gosselin.
Late inning walks. Talk about them all the time.
Jumbo Diaz is getting ready for Upton should the lineup card move that way.
Or as the Reds call it, their goal line defense.
The fridge.
Yeah.
Up and away from Parra. This has been a real problem spot for the Reds this year, and especially so since the All-Star break. Amazingly, their bullpen has lost 11 games after the break. They have not won a game in relief. And their ERA is a group over 4. The man at the end is terrific. But getting the ball to Aroldis Chapman has been an issue. The fans getting mad at Parra, who's got a 4-run lead and can't throw strikes. Missed again.
Taken all the way.
Now it's a full count. Braves are trying to win their 20th game in 29 tries against National League Central Division opponents. They've handily won the season series with the Reds. 5 games to 1. Got a big hole now. Trailing 5-1 in the 8th. 1 on, none out. Back where it came from and off the glove of Brandon Phillips. It'll trickle into shallow center field and no further advance. Gosselin has a 2-hit game. And now Freeman, with 2 men aboard, gets to hit with nobody out.
He was this close to having a 3-hit game, and he was this close to having only 1 hit, because if Brandon Phillips gets his glove on it, he generally catches it. So a break there. Cozart made the great play on him in the first inning.
So you're saying it truly is a game of inches, is it not?
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be a good time for Freddie to pick up his first hit of the day. He has struck out. He's hit into a double play, and he almost took off Brian Pena's hand with a shot to first in the 6th inning. Braves fans chopping away beyond the third base dugout. Ball 1.
And Parra balks every time he toes the rubber, but he does it the same way every time, so the umpires let him get away with it. Watch. He'll put the ball in his glove. Well, this time he did it different. So maybe they could call a balk on him. Each time he's been in the stretch this inning, he's put his foot on the rubber, then taken his hand out of the glove. That's a no-no.
Ground ball towards second. Phillips has it. 1 there. Cozart's throw to first. Pulls Pena off the bag. And the Cincinnati defense, which has been the best in the league all year, let him down a bit there. That looked like a sure double play. Instead, all the Reds get is a force out at second, and Atlanta runners are at the corners, and that's going to end the day for Parra.
It It was hit sharply, but Phillips got the ball to Cozart in plenty of time. Cozart's rushed throw, though, the difference there. Another nice tumbling, rolling play by Brian Pena.
Parra leaves with a couple of runners aboard. He retires 1 of 3 he faced. Braves in the ball game, down 5-1 with Justin Upton coming up. As Justin Upton is coming to the plate. He is the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Who better than Upton in a run-scoring situation?
Absolutely. He's the guy that you want up there since the All-Star break. 7th in the National League in average, 2nd in slugging, 1st, absolutely top the list in RBIs. And he'll face a goal line defender. The jumbo package. Jumbo Diaz came in and struck out the side in the 7th inning of Game 2 of this series. A career minor leaguer who's getting his first opportunity in the big leagues this year, and he's making the best of it.
And his nickname Jumbo was well earned. He was a 350-pound reliever for over a decade in the minor leagues. It took him a long time to shed pounds and gain traction in his professional baseball career. He's always been able to throw hard, but never had great command. But finally got into shape, and here he is in Cincinnati after terrific work with their AAA team in Louisville.
Well, their whole staff's got to be on pins and needles. This is, as you said a minute ago, this is where they've really been stubbing their toe, and that's at the end of games.
Good cut by Upton. Justin's knocked in 23 of his 86 runs in August, and he has been a Reds killer the last 18-19 times he's faced him. He'll be followed by Chris Johnson. .97, but low.
He can go higher. Has a slider too in the upper 80s, but fastball is the one. When you miss that badly with the slider as a hitter, 3-1, you pretty much take that out of the equation and just get geared up for the fastball and hope you get a good pitch to hit. Hope it's in a good spot.
Here comes the 3-1. Ripped straight back.
It was a slider. A 90-mile-an-hour slider. I'm not sure it broke very much, and that's why Justin got a good swing at it. Kind of stayed in the middle of the plate, too. But it was hard.
To strike him out. And Upton, frustrated, is out number 2.
And he did go higher. 98 on this one. And beat him. The 3-1 pitch, though, was the one that got him to that strikeout point. I mean, be able to throw that, even though it wasn't a good one, to get it close enough for Justin to swing.
So Chris Johnson will try to keep the inning alive. 2 outs, 2 on. And there's the slider.
Now the guy, and I realize Aroldis Chapman's left-handed. Okay, I get that. But the guy who's had the best swings at Chapman in this series is Chris Johnson. Whether it was 101 or 99, didn't matter. Chris was putting a good swing on it.
So you think if you can put good swings on Chapman, you can put good swings on anybody. Atlanta's hoping that's the case here.
If you can get in a good count and get a fastball. Another slider. That one was probably the best one he's thrown. Definitely the best one he's thrown.
Over the outside corner. He struck out Upton. He struck out Johnson. And the Braves' 8th inning rally is ended. 5-1 Reds. of our 8th inning. As we promised you earlier today, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T.
Shep Fargenstein. Thank you for the pick. Gonna need a bigger hat.
That's really a size 17.5 hat.
Probably. Nice handlebar mustache, though. Got to give him that.
Maybe he's auditioning to be Mr. Red. The beard would have to go. As Ludwig pops one up, Freeman in foul ground is going to have plenty of room. And Freddie's got it. There's out number 1 in the home 8th.
See, here's what I got for that guy. Good beard, good handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
But if you've got to put an elastic band on your trickery, then you're trying too hard. You know, just put the hat on there. If it falls off, it falls off. But I think the elastic band is a little too much work at it.
Well, he could have done what one of the Braves did to Alex Wood. Just get some bubble gum, stick it on the bottom of the hat.
Why not? Yeah.
Stick it in the moss, see what happens. Pena to left. And Upton's got that. And 2 are out. I think we were talking earlier about the Farnsworth Paul Wilson deal. My memory was a little foggy on where it was. It was here. I thought it was at Wrigley Field, but that takedown did take place. As my partner at the time, Steve Stone, said of Paul Wilson after the fight cleared, his jersey was ripped up and stuff. Steve
Chest
said
was caved in.
Yes. Steve said, and look at Paul Wilson. He looks like a falcon landed on his nose. It was one of the great scrums on getaway day. As Zach Cozart bats. Well, a couple of Reds who'd had some trouble gotten a little healthier in this series. Frazier, a couple of hits and a couple of runs, including a homer. Jay Bruce, 2 hits, 2 runs, a stolen base. And Cozart, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. But ultimately, this game, I think, turns on the fact that Braves couldn't cover first base, couldn't turn a double play. That's 4 runs. That's the difference on the scoreboard.
Exactly right.
And when you're not hitting, those plays become awfully magnified. To center and deep. Upton back. Warning track wall. Off the top of the wall. Cozart around second. He is on his way to third, and he'll belly flop in with a triple. It's a 3-hit game for the Red shortstop.
I'm going to have to see this again because I know BJ thought this ball was going out of the ballpark, but I wondered if he gave up on it too soon. Hit right on the yellow line, but he was only 2 steps from the fence on the warning track at the time he stopped to play it off the wall.
So it's 2-out triple, and Jack Hanahan's going to bat for Diaz.
Jumbo.
I'm so used to calling Matty Diaz that just reflexively it comes out that way. And Matt's a slender man.
Yeah, we call him Jumbo. We got problems. And a ball inside to Hanahan. A ball and a strike.
Diaz 2/3 of an inning, both out strikeouts. And Jack Hanahan, the pride of St. Paul, Minnesota, gets an at-bat. Originally a Tiger, then went to the A's, then to the Mariners. Was with the Red Sox organization, then went to Cleveland. This is his second year with the Reds. He's in the second year of a 2-year deal. It's a team option for next year. And Gaddis saved a run with a nice block of a ball in the dirt.
Well, that was a nice play by Evan. Nice move.
Most of Hanahan's work in the big leagues came as a third baseman.
That took some quick reactions from Evan on that one. That ball was starting in and breaking in.
And he just struck out. So the triple by Cozart does no damage. And we head to the 9th inning. Last call for the Braves. They're down 5-1. Where the Reds lead by a 5-1 count. Off day tomorrow, then we're off to New York, where we open up a series with the Mets. And here, Joe, are your Chevron probable starters for Game 1.
Second try for Alex Wood at his 10th win. He pitched a great ball game, remember, in Pittsburgh. Only gave up a couple of runs late in the ball game, and the Braves eventually lost that game in the 9th. But he's pitching great baseball right now against Dylan G, who's 4-6 and always gives the Braves trouble. But look forward to that 3-game set with the Metropolitans,
who as a club give Atlanta trouble. Teams have played 13 games. The Braves have won 7, lost 6, and have lost 4 of 7 in New York. So we head to the 9th inning. 5-1 is your score. Let's again check in with Jen.
All right, Chip, you guys wanted me to get to the bottom of what a fire hop was when those fireworks were going off errantly. Well, I did. Sort of. I really couldn't find out what the heck that is as it relates to fireworks, but that was the official term used. They had to relay it into the command center here when they went off. So just so you know, I didn't make it up. I did find out, however, it's a play in Mario Kart 8 that could, quote, drastically change gameplay. So there you go. Fire hop, Mario Kart 8. I don't know.
I see. Okay. Huh. Thanks, Jen.
Sure.
Yeah, Jen could have given us her best Vin Scully there. It's interesting to note that Fire Hop is also in Mario Kart 8. Logan Andrusik is the new Cincinnati pitcher, the 4th of the day. He's got Gaddis to start things off.
Yeah, this is another spot where the Braves weren't able to really take advantage today in a close ball game this afternoon. Questionable whether or not Aroldis Chapman could pitch. He'd been in 3 straight games. But that's not the case at the moment.
Swing and a drive down the left field line. Will it stay high enough? It will. A line drive home run for Evan Gattis. He's hit 20. He's knocked in 50. It's a 5-2 game. Gattis' second homer of the year against the Reds.
He just tied Mesoraco for the most homers by a catcher in the National League. And just a matter of whether or not, like you said, Chip, it was going to stay high enough because it had a lot of topspin.
Evan hit 21 homers last year. I like his chances of a new career high in 2014. And Andrusik sprays another one out of the zone, this time to Tommy La Stella, who knocked in the first Braves run in the 7th inning.
And getting an earful from his catcher.
.342-foot home run for Gattis. And high, ball 2. Somebody else reaches. Brian Price may not have a choice but to think about Aroldis Chapman. Bad news in Washington. The Nationals have tied the Giants.
Wow, what a comeback.
6-6 in the bottom of the 6th.
They are on fire.
Phillies over the Cardinals 7-1, top 9. Milwaukee 4-2 over Pittsburgh in the top of the 7th. Bounce it to first. Pena off the heel of his glove. Andrusik got to the bag and stretched out. It's been an adventure for Brian Pena at first base today, but he didn't panic, and his pitcher did the job.
You know what? This is a play that usually goes as an error on a guy who doesn't play first base any more than Brian Pena, because like you said, they panic and then they make a bad throw. But he's got a big old 6'7" pitcher that come over there and kind of help out and handle that throw and keep his foot on the bag. So well done by Pena to not panic.
Advantage for Pena to play that ball like a catcher in the way he did physically.
He did that earlier in the series.
Right.
There was a one hopper that he kind of went to one knee on, like blocking a ball.
I guess if it bounces close.
Yeah, I'd say that Brian Price says, hey, however you got to get it done.
So 1 in, 1 out, and B.J. Upton took one a little high, a ball and a strike. Upton 2 for 14 in the series. He did reach with a walk and a stolen base in the second. An equipment problem for Mesoraco. Breaking ball, and Upton's caught looking.
Check out our Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Breaking ball. Yeah, good pitch. Caught the inside line.
Upton strikes out for the 156th time this year. That was called a strike earlier in the game when Carlson had a pretty wide zone. Now Atlanta down to its last out with Emilio Bonifacio pinch hitting. this score holds, it'll be a disappointing series that started so well for Atlanta. They took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh, won the first 2 games here in Cincinnati, and then over the last 18 innings have scored a grand total of 3 runs. And are in danger of dropping back-to-back games to the Reds. And out of play, foul. Flinch on the left side of the Reds infield, but Emilio held up. Kick saved by Ondrusek, and that's going to slow the ball down. It was headed up the middle, where Cozart and Phillips appeared to be in position to attempt to play, but we'll never know if they could have made it as Bonifacio reaches on an infield hit.
Well, the good thing about it is it keeps the game going. And any pitcher for the Reds that does this ought to be fined. Give those 2 guys up the middle a chance to go get it.
So Ondrusek cannot finish the game. He allows a homer and an infield hit, and it won't be Chapman, but it will be Jonathan Broxton. The big Georgia native will come on and face Jason Hayward, with the game still alive for Atlanta. Now the Braves are 7 behind the Nationals. They've come back from a big hole against the Giants to tie things up. Atlanta has a big deficit to make up with 1 out left. Milwaukee a half game ahead of the Cardinals. The Giants 4.5 behind the Dodgers. And the Braves at the moment 1 game behind San Francisco in the wild card. But Joe, you got to worry about the Pirates now and Miami. They're only a half game and 3 games respectively behind the Braves.
Well, the Braves had done a good job of climbing over the Pirates and putting them behind them in that series in Pittsburgh, but Pirates went to Milwaukee and won the first 2 there.
But they're trailing late, as are the Braves in Cincinnati today. Here's Broxton versus Hayward. Man aboard, 2 outs. Bonifacio takes off. Hayward takes a pitch. And indifference the call as Bonifacio now at second base.
Broxton worked in game 2 of this series, an inning, walked a batter, nothing else. Last 3 pitchers for the Reds, grand total of 840 pounds.
To the right side and through. That'll be a base hit for Hayward. Bonifacio will score. Jason Hayward a 2-hit game up to 52 RBIs. And the Braves will bring the potential tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning. And remember, it appears Chapman is unavailable. You've got Gosselin now. You've got Freeman on deck. .53. 2-hit day for Gosselin.
Start thinking about last inning, an opportunity. That inning started so well with a walk and a single, and the Braves got nothing out of it. But still battling here, and a chance to tie it with one swing.
Hayward's running. And he'll take second on a difference. And another situation where a hit means a run. Into the seats, foul, and Gosselin has a 1-2 count.
He doesn't throw as hard as Jumbo Diaz does. Brock's is still in the mid-90s with a little better slider. One that Gosselin might see right here.
He took it. Good call, Joe.
Good pitch, too. Wasn't a strike, but a good pitcher's pitch off the plate. And Phil did a good job laying off.
They go out there again.
I think he comes in before he tries it again. See where Mesoraco sets up. Was again. He doubled up, and that one wasn't as good. Mesoraco certainly crossed me up earlier with Jumbo when he kept going to the slider, but they did strike out Justin on a fastball, low fastball. And if you mess around here, you run the risk of putting the tying run on base. So you have to think fastball.
It was, and Phil fouled it straight back.
Broxton used to be in the upper 90s on a consistent basis. And some arm injuries have taken their toll on him. But he's still pretty consistent in that 94 to 95 range.
Phil's putting up a good fight here in the 9th. The tying run is aboard. The winning run is in the batter's box.
Great at bat by the kid. Again, their bullpen has been atrocious. Aroldis Chapman has been the best, but even he's been part of the meltdown that they've had over the, well, since the All-Star break.
Can Freddie Freeman rescue the Braves with 2 outs, 2 on, down 2 in the 9th in Cincinnati?
Their August bullpen numbers, and since the All-Star break, yikes. See if Freddie can make him pay.
Up and away.
Freddie did not face Broxton 2 days ago.
For the Reds, what if Ondrusek hadn't tried to kick at that batted ball by Bonifacio? Game might be over. So we can talk all we want about the what ifs for Atlanta. A big what if for Cincinnati here in the 9th. Freddie's trying to reel him in. He's ahead 2-0.
He's respecting Freddie too much. He's trying to make a perfect pitch, get a strike, but not good enough that Freddie can hit it out. And he's not even coming close. Broxton has allowed 3 homers in 46 innings. Not many, but in this ballpark, everybody's a home run hitter, especially guys like Freddie and Upton, who's on deck.
And the bases are loaded. With 2 outs, an infield hit, a Hayward hit, Gosselin and Freeman walk, and Jeff Pico is on his way out to talk to Jonathan Broxton.
Justin Upton's already done it once in this series, in extra innings, off Manny Parra into the second deck. That gave the Braves a 3-1 win.
Well, the beauty of the 2 runs that Atlanta has scored here is you want to live to play another inning. If Justin gets a single here, you feel the Braves have a great chance to tie this game.
That's a great point, Chip, and that's the Greg Walker theory. You know, give me 1, but even here a base hit gets you 2. Broxton did not face Justin Upton 2 days ago either. But Justin in his career 2 for 11, a double and 5 strikeouts against him.
Well, he's walked back-to-back hitters. Let's see if Upton's taking early in the count. If Broxton grooves one. Hope he swings for the fences.
Yeah, he'll be hacking away.
Oh. Strike 1.
That was his best fastball so far. 96.
The Reds bullpen woes have turned the lineup card to one of the hottest hitters in the game this month. And Upton down a strike, bases loaded with 2 outs. Under the letters and strike 2.
Borderline calls when you've walked a couple of guys already. Usually don't go your way. I think he got a break there. Ball could have gone either way. Not a bad idea there. Go upstairs and see if he'll chase.
Major league managers and sports writers hate leaky pens. Braves don't have that problem. The Reds do. Can Atlanta capitalize and rewrite this script in the ninth? 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball to Phillips. He's got it. The flip to second is in time. And the Reds escape with a series split. Atlanta scored twice in the ninth. They load the bases but cannot add to their run total today. And Atlanta has a day off in New York tomorrow. A 2-2 series split with the Reds, with the Mets lying in wait Tuesday night. 5-3 is your final. Back to Cincinnati to recap it after this.